What's up, you Flux Automated you, and welcome back to another video. And in this one, it's going to be a quick one. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but we are going to be talking about obviously the RS5 versus the RS4 Mini and why you might want to upgrade. Well, more so why I've upgraded, and hopefully this will help you make a decision as to if you should stick with the RS4 Mini, or if you don't have it already, purchase it, or upgrade to the RS5. Now in front of me, I have a list of all the reasons as to why I'm upgrading, and hopefully when I go out in the field, I would have made the right choice. But for now, let's just talk about what the pluses are when you get the RS5 versus the RS4 Mini. So the first thing is the size. Now for me personally, the RS4 Mini is nice and compact. You can move it around. It's really lightweight and it doesn't really take up too much space. Now when it comes to professional shoots, the RS5 does have a lot more features than the RS4 Mini. I say that in regards to the accessories that you could be adding to this and bulking this out to make it a fuller, bigger rig compared to the RS4 Mini. Now I'm going to come back to the size right at the end, because one of the main things might be, can this actually still fit in the kit bag that I use on a day-to-day basis? I think it can, and one of the main reasons will be, well, I'll show you that at the end. Now, another one of the upsides, well, it could be a downside, is the fact that this does weigh more than this. Now, I do have my FX3 on here right now, so obviously it's going to be a bit more weighty. So let me just take that off really quickly. So now we have the two gimbals, exactly the same setup in terms of being folded. And when you actually lift these, to be honest, they don't really feel that much different in weight. Now, this is heavier. I'm going to put the weight on the screen in terms of the comparison, but personally I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference to me. I am 6'5" and I do have athletic build, but I would say that for me it's not really going to make a difference. Now a few more extra grams probably will make more of a difference over time when you're out and about and you are flying the gimbal, but for right now I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Now the next thing up, when it comes to that professional look, it's all black. It's all black. Now, DJI did bring this gray kind of color here, which kind of resembles the Flip, which isn't one of the professional drones that are out there. It does look nice. It is different, but for me personally, I prefer something black like that, because when I'm out and I'm shooting, I'm always wearing black as well. So as a videographer, you want to be fading into the scene, fading into the background rather than standing out, which you do with this, because you do get a lot more questions when you are using this. This looks a little bit more toyish, whereas this looks way more professional. Next thing up is the screen on these devices. Okay, so bam. So I have both of the screens on right now, and hopefully you should be able to see them. Now looking at the RS4 Mini screen, it's not tiny. It does what it needs to do. And for what you're getting in this package, it works well enough. But now we have this new intelligent tracking module on the RS5 Mini. We're gonna need a bigger screen. So obviously now we have a bigger screen on the RS5. So you do get more information on the RS5 compared to the RS4 Mini, especially when you're out and about and you're using it and you need to go through the settings. Having something with a bigger screen is going to be more advantageous. Okay, the next thing up is the battery. Now, I've found when I've used the RS4 Mini that even though the battery has supposed to be given like 12 hours, I think it is, compared to 14 over here, I'm going to double check that and put it on the screen. I found that this does drain a lot quicker than it's actually stated. Now, when I've been out in the field after about 3 or 4 hours, I'm in a position where I'm thinking I'm going to need to charge this so I can get through the rest of the shoot. So I would say that having the RS4 Mini, the downside is that you can't detach it and put another battery in. The battery is all built into the handle. So you are going to have that problem if you are on longer shoots. You can just plug in your external battery charger or, some kind of input into this and charge it at the same time. But, that's a hassle. That's something you're going to have to carry extra, and it's going to give you extra weight. Whereas the RS5, you have the battery, which is actual handle, which you can easily remove and replace. So you can get an even longer battery, giving you more hours. Now, another little benefit is the fact that you have these LEDs on the side of the battery, so you can see how much charge you have in your battery. So if you have multiples of these, you can see what charge is left in them. As I said before, you cannot swap the battery out on the RS4 Mini. Now, another improvement with the RS5 is now you have foldable tripod legs. So an example here, instead of doing it one by one, you can just do it quickly like that. So if you are filming, you need to put the camera down at any point, you're good to go. Whereas on the RS4 Mini, from this position, you might think to yourself, that isn't much of a difference, but to be honest, that compared to this does help you and save you a little more time, especially when you're in a position where you need to do something really, really quickly. That little touch there does make a lot of difference. Okay, one of the biggest features on the RS5 is now you have the ability to balance it with these balancing knobs compared to trying to do it the older way, the older style, where you release and then you're trying to nudge, say for instance from this axis right here. Okay, if I need to nudge it to one side or the other, okay, I just release it and then I'm doing this. And then sometimes it just doesn't get to where it needs to be, especially when you've got weight on the actual arms itself. It does then make it harder to move it slightly. Now, so I've found at times that is a pain. Now with the RS4 and the RS4 Mini, they did add a new Teflon type of coating to make it smoother. So it did improve it compared to the RS3 and everything before that, but it still wasn't the greatest thing. They did add a balancing knob up here, but it was just one. Whereas with the RS5, you now have 1, 2, 3, 4 knobs in total, which are going to help you to balance and get that sweet spot much easier, much quicker. Okay, let's move these aside for a moment because we are going to now detach. So we have the RS4 intelligent tracking and now we have the RS5 intelligent tracking. Now they look virtually the same, you know. One is a lighter and one is a darker color. So this is the intelligent tracking standard and this is the intelligent tracking enhanced. Now this is going to do a lot more for you. One of the issues I had with using this, I initially thought this was going to be a great game changer for me, but when I've been out in the field, I haven't really used it. One of the main reasons is when you lock onto a subject, you never really know what the subject is. So sometimes you be capturing something, thinking that your camera's going to lock in, and find out that it's actually locked onto somebody else. Whereas with the now enhanced version, you can lock it onto people, objects, animals, plants, cars, and you can use the screen on the RS5 to actually select what you want to be tracking. So that is one of the main reasons that you might want to upgrade to the RS5, because it's going to give you way more abilities to capture anything and everything that you want much more smoothly. But in my future video, I am going to go more in depth as to if I find that this is way more usable than this, and if I actually really do use it out in the field. Okay, the next thing is the handles. Now with the RS4 Mini, you have this gray handle right here, and you know, it's just a standard briefcase handle. You know, you can add some attachments on here or whatnot, but it doesn't do anything other than that. But now with the RS5, we have this new handle that has the controls in it, which I think is super cool, because when you're doing those low shots, you haven't got to be reaching down to the other side of the gimbal. You can do everything from here and just keep everything kind of smooth. So you have the trigger button here as well. So when you want to be activating the intelligent tracking, you've got it here. You also got the joystick here, and then you have your two buttons, one for record and one for whatever you want to set it to. So that does make a lot of difference. Compared to the standard briefcase handle, this is a much bigger improvement. And in terms of weight wise, so the RS5 is actually lighter than the RS4 Mini, which is very interesting. Now, the last thing I'm going to cover in this video is how these gimbals break down. Now, I've already taken the handles off. Next thing, let me collapse everything on the RS4 Mini. And then I'll take the tripod off. And then usually I would take the base plate off as well. Now, this is the small rig base plate. Now, this doesn't come with the standard RS4 Mini. You have to buy this separately. It was sent to me. I did do a review about a lot of accessories for the RS4 Mini, and hopefully I'll get some accessories for the RS5. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, so you can see that video when it comes. So this is the RS4 Mini broken down. Now let's break down the RS5. So one of the great things about the RS5, we have this detachable battery. Okay, so all you need to do is release it from here, pull it out, lock that back down. Then you have this here. Then you have the gimbal part here. Now here they are broken down. And one of the main things I've observed is, well, first of all, but when we come to the main unit, as I said, the RS4 Mini, you cannot take the battery off. So in terms of size wise, so if we put them side by side like this, don't know if you can see too well, but the RS5 isn't that much bigger. Now, one of the key issues that I've had is when you put it into a bag like this, okay, this is your width. And if you try and angle it like this, then it's going to get wider because you've got a longer unit. Now, if I compare this to the RS4, you've got a much smaller area. So you are going to be able to put it in like that or like that. You're not going to make anything protrude out of here like that. So if you look at the height wise, okay, it is a little bit shorter, the RS5 compared to the RS4 Mini. And width wise, I would say, yeah, it's a little bit wider, but hopefully this setup should make it easier to get into your bag, which is the next thing I'm gonna be focusing on, which is, can I actually fit this into my current gear bag without any issues? Haven't tried it yet. Let's try it now though. So here is my PGYTECH bag. And first of all, let me just show you how I would put the RS4 Mini in. Okay, it would go in really simple like that. I never have any problems putting it in here with all the accessories as well, which I'll put in different compartments. Now the RS5 does come with a bag, but I'm most likely never going to be using that unless I'm putting it in storage. Because now if I was carrying a lot of gear, for example, I was loading up into a truck or something like that, I would definitely put it in the bag. So it is nice to have the bag for storage, but if you don't really have the space or you're traveling longer distances and you want to keep your gear as minimal as possible, you want something that's going to be able to still fit in your backpack. So let's check the RS5 to see if it fits in here, or I might have to upgrade to something else. So here's the big test. Is it going to fit in the bag? Let's put it in here like this. Does it fit? Is it gonna zip up? Okay, so it does still fit, okay? It's a little bit more compact. I am gonna have to think about like how I'm gonna be managing this, because this is not really how you wanna be using or packing your kit. It is bigger, okay? When you first look at it, maybe because of the colors, it doesn't look as big as you think it is, but in terms of that to this is way more easier to put into the bag. I guess because it's wider, but it still fits. So you just got to be careful. I think it's just going to take me a while just to figure out exactly how to put it into the bag. I do have another bag that I could be using. I just really like to carry this because it usually gets all my kit in there without me having to, you know, bring a bigger bag with more space. It's heavier. So for now, that was just a quick breakdown as to, you know, what this RS5 is about and why you might want to upgrade. I am going to go out in the real world and use it. So I'm going to be putting it in bags and doing all that kind of stuff. So in the next video, I'll break down and tell you exactly what I thought about it in the end. Was it worth the upgrade? And did I have any problems put it in this bag? So for now, thanks for checking in. I'm going to check out. I got things to do. Peace.